Well, folks, it's May. At the end of the month, we are getting King of the Monsters, but before we get there, let's revisit the film that kicked off a whole new monster universe with Rewatch Wednesday, number 5, Godzilla. Let's go! What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Dave Cave. I, as always, am Dave. Now, like I said, today we are doing Rewatch Wednesday, number 5, Godzilla. Before we get started, if you're new here, consider hitting that subscribe button to stay on top of all things horror and heroes coming out of the Dave Cave. Godzilla was directed by Gareth Edwards, stars Aaron Taylor Johnson, Bryan Cranston, Elizabeth Olsen, and Ken Watanabe. The story basically follows Ken Watanabe's Dr. Serizawa and Bryan Cranston's Joe Brody on their mission to find Godzilla and the Mutos, really for their own reasons, but eventually they come together for a mutual understanding. Now, the reason for Dr. Serizawa is he is obsessed with the creature, and then becomes obsessed with the other creatures, the Mutos. Don't worry, we are going to get to talking about all those crazy bastards. Just hold on. And then Joe Brody, Bryan Cranston, his mission is to find out really why there's this huge cover-up surrounding the accident that caused the death of his wife. And it is the uncovering of that cover-up that has put a lot of strain between him and his son Ford, who, the grown-up version, is Aaron Taylor Johnson. For me, this movie has gotten better as it's gotten away from 2014. I enjoyed the movie at the time because I was not big on Breaking Bad. I got on that train later, but I wasn't big on Breaking Bad when this came out. So when what happens to Bryan Cranston's character happens, I didn't care. Not that I didn't care, but I understood the reason why. And the reason why, if you really look at the movie again, is that it hands the story off to his son, Ford. His son, Ford, is a military man. They can follow that character. You can follow his footsteps because he is then thrust into the world of Godzilla and these Mutos. And what that does is, one, lends a human aspect to the story, and two, allows for some great shots of Godzilla and the fighting, because sure, you get some of the cinematic. You get the big pulled back, you see all of Godzilla, you see all of the Mutos, and you see them fighting. You get some great shots with that, but also, because you have this military man that they can utilize in the story, you get great shots that we haven't seen before of Godzilla. Like, we know Godzilla is huge. He is very big. He's actually probably the biggest I think I've ever seen him in this film. But one shot that really stands out is the skydiving shot. Because you have all the troopers. They're all floating through the air, just falling, land in the city, and you get these shots of Godzilla through the clouds. You get just glimpses of him. And when they finally show him, you get the best, longest, sexiest Godzilla roar there has ever been in cinema. Because it goes, and then you think it's going to stop, and then he kicks it up again. And it's just, that sound bite is one of the best roars in cinema. It's so good. The shining star, absolutely, and as it should be, is Godzilla. And boy, are we about to start talking about him and the Mutos. Now, I thought the Mutos were a very interesting choice to have as the bad guys for this movie. I say bad guys, you get the point. But to have them be these monsters that haven't existed up until now. But what's so awesome about this is you have a male and female, and they have self-preservation. They're trying to reproduce. They're trying to expand their species. Makes sense. On a nature level, makes sense. But what's so brilliant about that is in other iterations of Godzilla, the lines have always been kind of blurred. Who's on what team? Sometimes you have Godzilla on the human side. Sometimes you have Godzilla attacking the city. Sometimes you have different team-ups between different monsters. Sometimes you have monsters fighting each other that teamed up before. The lines have been blurred before. Big time. But in this, it is very clear because you have this male and female Muto, which have very different designs, which allow for different types of combat. See, there's a lot of smart in the designs of these characters. When you take a step back and really appreciate it, having one that can fly and having one that can go toe-to-toe with Godzilla, Smart. So you have these two monsters that absolutely want to work together against Godzilla. And it allows for clear reasons that they wouldn't attack each other if they're just monsters and they're just animals out in the wild. It doesn't matter. They have the mutual want to expand the species. So they're going to work together and they're going to fight Godzilla. And they whoop them. They do a very good job of whooping Godzilla. But while the Mutos are a new idea, that also kind of hurt the movie when it first came out in the marketing, because we had this flying monster. And if you know anything about Godzilla, you see this flying monster that doesn't look like a dragon, you're going to think it's Mothra. Right? And then the movie starts with monarch, butterfly, Mothra. Makes perfect sense, right? You're going to think that this is going to be Mothra. And for me, when I first thought that this thing was Mothra, I was incredibly let down. Very much so. But then when you get into the movie and the movie explains what these two monsters are, what these two creatures are, it makes a lot more sense, and you're allowed to keep going and really root for Godzilla. And now, the juice you've been waiting for, we are going to talk Big G himself, Godzilla. Now, in this movie, I love absolutely everything they did about Godzilla. I love that they have him be a force of balance, that when you have these Mutos that look like they're going to disrupt the whole world, he comes out. And that they've tried to attack him, and he's like, all right, come on. Like, don't be dropping nukes on me. I'm not trying to hurt you guys. I'm here as a force to, keep things in balance. Leave me alone. And I like that they do that sometimes. I like that they have the cover-up of, oh, they were just nuclear tests. No, they weren't nuclear tests. We were trying to kill this thing. I like when they mess with history like that a little bit. And they did it subtly enough that it works in this movie. So back to Godzilla. Like I said, he is monstrous in this movie. And he has such a beautiful roar. But he is a big dude in this movie. And I love how he looks. I like that he is not really supposed to be agile. And I like that he really gets beaten, like viciously. He gets stabbed and messed up and bit and clawed and just, he is down and out. But he has very, very awesome kills getting rid of the Mutos. He gets the, I'm kind of duck swing and just smokes the flying one to the wall. Absolutely love that. And then you think he is down and out. And then the Mutos rolling up on Ford. And you get, I'm pausing for a reason, because that scene is just so beautiful and so just, if you're a Godzilla fan, to finally see the return of the atomic breath. You see it, and then when it really gets its heyday, he pulls the Muto's head back and just down his throat. Just smokes him and throws his head into the river. Oh, and then he rests and he passes out, and that, the best end to that fight right there. They did it perfectly. That fight was everything that I could have wanted out of that fight. It's not everything I think I'm going to want out of a fight, because I think King of the Monsters is going to blow everything this movie has done away. But that is exactly how that movie should have ended. Absolutely loved it. And as I just said, King of the Monsters is coming, and I know Ken Watanabe is coming back. I haven't heard anything about Aaron Taylor-Johnson or Elizabeth Olsen coming back. I'll be very curious to hear if we hear anything about them. I don't think we will, though. So yeah, overall, I think it's pretty clear that I absolutely love this movie, and that every time I watch it, I love it that much more. And I cannot wait, absolutely cannot wait, for King of the Monsters. I'm probably going to watch this movie again before we get there, because it's so good, and it's so well acted. You get Bryan Cranston. He's Bryan Cranston. He does his Bryan Cranston thing. I've always loved Aaron Taylor-Johnson. Boom, Aaron Taylor-Johnson. Elizabeth Olsen, she does a great job too. I understand that there are some questionable character moments in the process of the movie, but overall it's really fun. And it's a Godzilla movie. A Godzilla movie is not supposed to be, winning Oscars for story. It's supposed to be a beautiful, fun popcorn ride. That's what this is. So go watch it. Again. And again. And again. Alright, well that's going to do it for the review. Before we get out of here though, random recommendation of the month. These bad boys. Spicy Sweet Chili Doritos. I love them. They're a little bit spicy, but they are Absolutely delicious. It's unhealthy how many of these I've probably eaten over the last month. It's a lot. Now, if you have something you would like me to check out to possibly be my random recommendation of the month, hit the comments below, let me know, and if it becomes my random recommendation of the month, I'll give you a shout out. Okay, that is going to do it for me today. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to like and share, and be sure to check me out on Instagram and Twitter at @TheDaveCave_. I am posting there, as you know, when I'm not posting here. Thank you so much, as always, for stopping by the Dave Cave. Take care.